And the Grammy goes to...
The one and only Yungblud.
You've been a very misunderstood musician, right? How would you explain them who you are?
I'm excited, insecure, confident, loud, sensitive.
Where does the insecurity come from and where does the confidence come from?
I think confidence comes down to I've always been quite fearless to say something in front of 40,000 people, to put out music. I'm always down to go. Like, if, for example, say like we're about to jump off a cliff or we're about to jump out of a plane, I'm down to go first. But my mind is quite a dark place.
What's your biggest insecurity?
I think my biggest fear is I've always wanted to be loved by everyone in a room.
Why?
I think that's an entertainer's curse.
What part of your childhood you would want to forget?
First time I came in, I wore nail polish to school. And I remember my teacher in front of the whole class was like, boys don't wear nail polish. I still to this day hate in the gut because public humiliation out of fear of the unknown is the most damaging thing to a child. I've always been like loved or hated since I was a baby, I think.
Do you do the same thing in your relationships as well? Where you're like selfishly taking decisions just because you want to?
I always believe that any relationship is a team effort, but honesty is the core of it all. My vibe is the worst relationships is when the communication is bad, because it's like, I don't know what you want, so what can I give you?
I like that statement which you made right now. The best relationship is when two people are selfish.
And that's when you can alleviate insecurity. And that's when you alleviate, is this person going to leave me? Because I know what page you're on. You've been honest with me.
Mom, 3 nominations. Zombie Best Rock Song.
You're very close to your mom.
I'm a mummy's boy. You know, still now when I have a big gig and I can't sleep and anxious and nervous about tomorrow, she'll pick up the phone and knows a way to talk me down.
Still call her when things go wrong?
Yeah, if I'm nervous about tomorrow, I'll probably call tonight. You know?
You've also struggled with your body, right?
Yeah.
You see yourself in the mirror today. Who do you see?
I am really insecure about my body, and I think a lot of people see me go shirtless on this last tour, and that's been a big battle with myself. I did not like my body without my shirt on. We all judge ourselves harsher than the world does.
Do you change your thoughts and music and art just because you don't want people to leave you? Or just because you don't want to feel unloved again?
Epic question. Before this album, I would make decisions with that in mind. Now I can't.
Why?
Because the best art that's connected to the most people has been made selfishly.
Looking like a zombie. Would you even want me? Want me? Want me? I'm going to change it.
I just want you to enjoy this episode the way I did. And I just want to tell you that there are more episodes coming. So keep supporting us and hit the subscribe button right now. You know, here's the thing which I really like asking people. I'm going to start with you as well, the same way. That,
Cool.
like, you've been a very misunderstood musician, right? And you've had these things like people misunderstand you in certain way. So let's say if somebody who's watching this doesn't know anything about you.
Yeah.
You have a clean slate.
Cool.
Right. How would you explain them who you are and where do you come from?
I'd firstly say hello. My name's Dominic Harrison. My artist name's Yungblud. I'm from the north of England. I am excited, insecure, confident, loud, sensitive, but always looking for connection and a good time.
You said a lot of these words right now, and I want to explore each one of them.
I love that. That's cool.
You said insecure and confident.
Yep.
Explain me both. Where does the insecurity come from and where does the confidence come from?
Confidence is my gut instinct. Insecurity comes second, about what I have just done. I think confidence comes down to I've always been quite fearless to approach a situation, to walk up to someone in a bar, to, I don't know, say something in front of 40,000 people, to put out music. I'm always down to go. Like if, for example, say like we're about to jump off a cliff or we're about to jump out of a plane.
You can do it. You're down to do it.
I'm down to go first. You know what I mean? I've never had that issue. But my mind is quite a dark place. And I become insecure about my actions, even though my instinct told me to do them.
Interesting. Where does confidence come from? When was the first time you felt confident?
I don't know. I've always been, I always ask my mother that. I always ask my mum, was I always like this? And she was like, you were always approaching strangers as a kid.
Wow.
Like in restaurants, walking up to tables and sticking my tongue out. My mother said I was always very good with people. But I was a lot of people necessarily loved it or did not like it. Do you know what I mean? So I think when people say like I'm a misunderstood person and a misunderstood artist, I've always been like loved or hated since I was a baby. I think, you know, I think people, I'm always, you know what I mean? I don't hold back, and sometimes that pisses people off.
Do you think, does that, like, is your mom confident or your dad? Does that come from family?
So people who knows me say I've got my mother's heart and my dad's head. My dad is a real, he thinks a lot. He's really good at solving situations, but my mother's heart is what's crazy. My dad's not very confident unless he's like on a dance floor. Weirdly, you know what I mean? In real life, he's not confident unless he's on a dance floor. He's quite shy. And my mother's almost the other way. She's confident in a social setting, but on a dance floor, no. You know what I mean?
You're both.
I'm both. Yeah, I think.
You picked confidence from both then.
I think so. I've got my mother has gypsy in her. She's like her father was a gypsy, so she has this extremely deep human empathetic quality to her that I think I picked up on. She sees when people are not good. Even when everybody else can't.
Can you spot it?
Yeah.
You can too?
I really think I think that the key to what Yungblud has become is down to the fact that I feel people extremely deeply and want to as well. It's my favorite part about being an artist.
But can you spot if someone's good or bad?
In terms of sad or evil or both?
Or both.
I can feel people's emotion. I think I feel like I can sense people's emotion, and I don't necessarily know if people have good intentions or not. I'm not. I think that's my girlfriend's very good at that. You know what I mean? My girlfriend always says she's like you'd be like a rebel king, but you'd let someone in too hard and they'd stab you in the back. My girlfriend always says that, but I'm pretty good at feeling people's emotions, I think.
Explain me this. If you can understand people's emotions, what in you makes you blind towards their intentions?
I think I trust too easily.
You take them on a face value, like
I feel like if someone comes out and asks me for help, or if someone appears like they need help and they have a knife behind their back, I wouldn't care if they had a knife behind their back. I'm a bit more pure like that. Again, in the same way that I will jump out of a plane first, even though if the drop would kill us, I'd be the idiot to do it first out of my personality. You know what I'm saying? I think my intentions are always like I'm very real and truthful like that. I'll talk to it and maybe people would outsmart me if they had ill intentions, you know.
Interesting. And now going back to the thing that you said, you're insecure as well.
Yeah.
What's your biggest insecurity?
I think my biggest fear is I've always wanted to be loved by everyone in a room.
Why?
I don't know. I think that's an entertainer's curse. You know, I think...
But doesn't that kill your expression? Like, you want to be loved for who you are and what you express. You're necessarily not in the business of impressing people, but you want to impress everybody. How does that work?
It depends. I think as I've got older, I have not made art to impress people.
Earlier you used to.
But I still want to be loved by everyone.
And why do you want to?
Because my art is different to me. You know, I think with me, you know, necessarily if I walk into a dinner party and no one knows what kind of artist I am, I still want to be loved by people, you know? If I walk into a gig, you know what I mean? It's kind of a different thing for me. I feel like when I started making art and when I started making music, initially it was from a period of expression for myself and what me and my friends were talking about. Because when you make music and no fucker knows who you are, you have to make it for yourself because there's no one else cares.
Yeah.
And then with Yungblud, it blew up overnight and it got crazy big and bigger than expected. And that's when insecurity gets in the way of art, because you have someone listening, you have someone depending, you have someone hating, you have someone liking, you have someone hanging on your every word, you have someone hating your every word, you know? And that's when it comes into play. And it's only been when I hit 27 and when I made this last album was I really kind of found a place of making art for myself again, even though
You want to be loved.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's something to do with probably a 10-year-old child in me that is still there. You know, I think when you're 27 or you're 28 in this world, I'm still trying to figure out who I am. But with me, the world is shouting back, telling me who I am. So it becomes hard at times because it's so easy to listen to the world. It's a thing I believe that's hard about growing up in an age of social media, because when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do, you don't necessarily open the window and feel the air on your face, smell the sea, drink water and have a coffee. You open your phone and you compare yourself to 25 different people before you've even had your morning piss or washed your face. So I think it's something that is that the statement about kind of being in the public eye and having the world shout back is a lot more relatable to a new generation than it was to an old one.
True.
Because the world tells us what to think, what to read, what to consume, what to wear, what to listen to, you know. So it's cool. I think to kind of again go full circle is like my biggest insecurity is that I've always wanted to be liked, and the biggest lesson and the biggest epiphany on my last album is that I'm not gonna be.
Were you, as a 10-year-old kid, did you feel that you were invisible?
I had a massive imagination and I spent a lot of time in it. I grew up in a family business. Mm-hmm. My father and my grandfather sold guitars. And it was growing up in any kind of family business, when it was retail, you either have a great week or you have a bad week. So my family life was kind of amazing and rock and roll and cool, but also turbulent. And I think invisible is it depended what scenario. I think my dad and my granddad were like superheroes to me. They were so cool, and it was all about music and all about rock music. And I only wished I could be as cool as them. But I didn't want to do what they wanted to do. I didn't want to sell things. I wanted to play them. And I think when you grow up in a musical family like that, there was always so many opinions placed in, and it was almost like you won't make it because everyone that worked in that shop with him tried and didn't do it. So I was almost very lucky to have to be exposed to great music from very young, like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Muddy Waters and the Stone Roses and the real good shit. You know, I got it filtered, but it was also strange because I was dissuaded from pursuing a career in it because I'm from a small town in the north of England, and no one really makes it if you try.
But when you were going through this, did you feel loved?
I did, yeah. I always felt love from my mother and father. You know, I felt like sometimes when they fought a lot, and if you kind of look at if you know the press, I had a little bit of a turbulent upbringing with my mother and father's relationship, but they always loved us. But they had problems with each other. And so did my family had problems with each other because, again, in the nature of a family business, when you work together, when everything is good one week and everything is almost bankrupt the next week, it's very turbulent and very, there's no boundaries. It's chaos, which I love, but I also, I had a very strange relationship with love because my mother and father were two characters that I believe I'd never seen anybody love each other harder or hurt each other harder than my mother and father. So love was a strange concept to me, but I always felt loved by them.
What about your childhood?
Yeah.
What part of your childhood you would want to forget?
No. I would say probably my relationship with some teachers. I remember on close day, first time I came in, I wore nail polish to school because I'd seen Kurt Cobain or Robert Smith and I wanted to be in a rock band. And I remember my teacher in front of the whole class was like, boys don't wear nail polish. And I remember I feel like I still to this day feel like I've been hit in the gut because public humiliation out of fear of the unknown is the most damaging thing to a child, I think. And I had that a lot because I was loud. I was wearing my abnormality loudly. And I was wearing my sense of imagination. And from where I was from, a small town in the north of England, people didn't like that. So, but it's very interesting now you say, would I want to forget it? Would I be who I am now if I could? Probably not.
True.
So I hated it, but it probably
made you who you are.
Made me who I am and kind of gave me a sense of defiance, and it gave me a foundation of inspiration to become an artist off the back of.
Do you think now that people like you, people love you, you have a voice, you're able to express, now that you're becoming a star, then you do more to define norms because your teacher at one point tried to put you in a box?
I believe it stemmed everything. I mean, art is pain, you know. I think that's where you pull from. You either pull from a source of energy, you pull from emotion. So I think ultimately it started there. My art started from pain and rejection and a place of unbandaged scars, unbandaged cuts in the center of my gut. You know, that's where it started from. And now that I have a fan base, does it heal that? No, but it makes me feel like I'm a part of something. So, you know what I'm saying? I think like now I sit here in this place and people ask me a question like, do you feel better? I'm like, not necessarily, because when I look at my phone and 50% of 20,000 comments are telling me that I'm a cunt or that I'm fat or that I should give up or that I should stop singing, doesn't hurt any less. However, now I have a community and I belong somewhere. I feel like it doesn't matter as much. You know what I mean? I ain't alone in that feeling of rejection or isolation. I'm kind of a part of it with others, and that's cool.
Does that make the pain lesser?
No, but it makes you... It makes it affect you less.
See, you said you started your journey and your art it stemmed from pain, rejection, insecurity. And after all the things that you've gone through and you've been very vocal about it in the last 28 years, let's say the violence, the bankruptcy, the suicide attempts, the conformity, all of that. What one single moment, if you have to pick up, what was that which shaped you who you are today?
I really think there has been a couple, but I think it was probably the first European tour, and we were in Amsterdam. And you don't know what the fuck you're doing when you start this off.
Yeah.
You say, I'm going to be called Yungblud, and we're going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to sing about what I believe in, and I'm going to talk into my iPhone. And I'd put out like King Charles, and I put out I Love You Will You Marry Me, the first music, and no one gave a shit in England.
Yeah.
And I really think I met 5 people outside a venue in Amsterdam. And people were walking past the venue and people were kind of like laughing at what we looked like and how we were expressing ourselves. And I remember a moment that they kind of were a bit frightened about the people. It was like dark. It was like 9:30 p.m. and outside of, probably a bit later actually, 11:30 after a gig in Amsterdam. And I remember them then turning back to me, and we just had a conversation. And I have a really close connection with my fan base. And this was a moment in my life where I was like, 1, I finally belong somewhere. 2, in a pack, we become fearless. And I'm going to build something that is going to make 100 million people feel safe one day. And I've never told anyone that. And I remember that because I've not thought about that. And still to this day, there's 2 girls, and I think one of them's called Tess, comes to the show, and I see them on the front of the barrier. And it's such a strange moment when with music, because there's so much hype and so much bullshit. When you have a real connection with someone where you go like, you make me feel safe, I make you feel safe because of this thing that we're building, it made me take me out of it. Initially from being an artist, I was like, this is not about me. No one wants another self-indulgent rock star. People want to belong somewhere. And I had 10,000 followers on Instagram at the time. And from that moment, from that tour, I remember I was like, why am I thinking about me? Let the community and let the space and let the idea of what we mean to each other and let the love that we have for each other lead the way. I implemented that into my fundamentals of what I did and woke up to do every day. And then a year later, I had 2 million followers.
Do you change your thoughts and music and art just because you don't want people to leave you, or just because you don't want to feel unloved again?
Epic question. Before this album, I would make decisions with that in mind. Now I can't.
Why?
Because the best art that's connected to the most people has been made selfishly. And it's such a dichotomy. The only thing I believe an artist or anyone owes the world is the truth. If I want to make something just to appease you and you don't like it, it was a waste of time. If I make something that I truly love and truly believe in and is the truth, hopefully you connect to it too. But if you don't, it's not a waste of time, because it was a personal journey and it was uncompromised. In the same way that if you wrote a song, or as we talk now, we disagree on something, I'm into it because you could be completely truthful. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's the way I've had to make art, because when you make art with your head and the world doesn't like it, it's fucking shit. When you make art with your soul, and when you make decisions with your soul, and when you make statements with your soul, and the world doesn't like it, not really much you can do about it, because it came from within you.
So do you do the same thing in your relationships as well? Where you are like selfishly taking decisions just because you want to, and not trying to take any decision just to appease the person you are in relationship with?
My vibe is I always believe that any relationship is a team effort, but honesty is the core of it all. If like my vibe is like, if we are going out for dinner tonight and you don't say what you want, but you really want, I don't fucking know, to bring it back, you want pizza and I want fucking Chinese food. But you don't say you want pizza, so you come to Chinese food and you kind of didn't want it anyway, so you resented me for it. My vibe is if you say you want pizza, I'll be like, I might be like, all right, cool, fuck it, let's get pizza. I really think there's honesty within that. I don't make decisions selfishly. I just say what I want. Mm-hmm. And it's helped me in every relationship that I've ever had, because I don't mind compromising on what I want. I just want to hear what you want. And then we can meet in the middle. My vibe is the worst relationships is when the communication is bad, because it's like, I don't know what you want, so what can I give you right now? You know what I'm saying? I think like my vibe is two selfish statements can be, it is teamwork, because you probably, the best relationships you'll find is the compromise between your selfish statements is the right answer.
Nice.
And that's when you find teammates in love, in sex, in music, in like my producer. We fight like cat and dog, but I know that the compromise between both of our truths and both of our goals, both of our ambitions, is the reason why 20 million people a month listen to our shit. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It's like, to me, I think it's all about honesty in relationships.
I like that statement which you made right now, which is the best relationship is when two people are selfish like that, and they take decisions together, and then they come in the middle and try to balance that out.
There's no games, or there's no fucking neat whiskey. You know what I mean? There's no, and that's when you can alleviate insecurity. And that's when you alleviate, is this person going to leave me? Because I know what page you're on. You've been honest with me. So I know that if you're not happy, so I can then take into account, okay, cool, well, maybe I should give a little bit more, or maybe I should really work on that, or maybe I should work on the way I spoke to you now, or maybe I should work on the way I thing, or maybe like, you know what, no, I don't need Chinese food tonight. I'm going to get pizza because that's going to make you happy, because I know what you want.
Yeah.
When I don't know what you want, there's no relationship. I'm talking to myself, or you're talking to yourself.
True. See, you said something which is very thoughtful and wise right now, but you've also said in the past that your family hasn't resolved a lot of issues till date, right?
Yeah.
Knowing what you know today, and why did you say this, I don't know, but what would resolution look like?
To be honest, this Christmas, I had the best Christmas with my family we've ever had, because I think as we all get a little bit older, as the kids get older, and everyone has own direction in their own lives, honesty prevails. It's not, again, with what I was just talking about, sitting around the Christmas table twice a year with your whole family, or whatever kind of dinner we all go to. If we're not honest, we're holding it. And often resentment and argument will be about not what the actual issue is about.
True.
Anxiety, pain, resentment, trauma just is the scariest thing, because it disguises itself as another issue. Whereas when we're honest, and I'm like, I don't like the way you spoke to me 6 fucking years ago, we get that out. So if we're going to have a disagreement in politics or what film we're going to watch, it's not that deep anymore. But if we have an issue that's unresolved from 6 years ago,
this one's going to be deep.
This one's going to be deep. You want to watch an action film, I want to watch comedy. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. When it's not about the film, it's about the unresolved issues. So I think the beautiful thing about my family is my family found it really hard when and rightly so, you know, I've actually not like said this, like I aired my family's dirty laundry in my art, and potentially at times that was maybe unfair because they didn't sign up for that, but that was my pain. And I think the way I spoke to my sisters and the way we've talked this out, and my mother and my father, they didn't know that they were going to have a son or a brother who would put the issues of what we had into art and into music. But I think, again, communication and honesty, we've been able to resolve that, because it's been like, I really think kind of my mum and dad's relationship and the way we had that and what happened, like the way people found peace in the art. Me and my mum and dad have sat down and kind of made peace with the fact that it was extremely turbulent and rough and traumatic, and the way people have, you know, I think that kind of behavior is so much more normal than any of us know. But in pop music and rock music, people wouldn't talk about it. So I did, and it helped a load of people. So my mum and dad were kind of cool, and now are like, when they see people connect to it, and fathers and daughters and fathers and sons and families almost be like, oh, well, Yungblud was like that, so we can get through it, has been cool for them to see. But it was weird at first, because the whole world is looking into our dirty little secrets.
So you said this Christmas was the best, right? Before that, you guys were not.
I just think, again, like, I think I have 2 sisters, 2 beautiful sisters. And I don't know, I feel like I settled as well. This album, when I hit 27, gratitude and emotional presence, and me taking a step back, and me kind of checking my own arrogance and all of this thing, you know, I think like being down to have the conversation. Again, and it's kind of weird, I keep coming back to this point, I think it's the biggest thing I've learned is unfiltered honesty and openness is something that I've learned. And I kind of, we brought that, I think like, it means like me and my family have been able to work through this as a team and as a unit and teamwork, as opposed to 6 individuals with different conflicting ideologies, which we are, but at least we know which each other's ideologies are. So I can take on board what each of them's saying. You know what I mean? It's fucking weird.
But do you take their... So, see, they never signed up for this, right?
No, they didn't.
They never. And so do you, before writing now, do you take their consent? Or have you gotten, or you've made peace with the fact that some people are going to be angry every time you're going to express?
My vibe is don't piss off a songwriter just before they're going to make an album. You know what I mean? I think, but I think like what's crazy is as much as it hurt, it allowed me and my family to really push ourselves over the cliff to face bullshit that we maybe otherwise wouldn't have addressed.
True.
You know, I think families can go through relationships, people, friendships can go through 15 years of unresolved communication that could have saved so much time if we would have just had the bollocks to say, yo, this is fucked. So all that side of my childhood and our childhood kind of got aired out. So it's almost a bit like freedom on that perspective, you know. I think like, but now I always will, it's hard, I will always write about what's eating me up, and I think that's what's hard about being close to any artist.
But will you take their permission now before writing anything about them?
Probably not, but I'll talk to them about it. You know?
And have you made peace with, let's say you write something, you put it out, dirty laundry's out, and if they get mad and if they get pissed, if they get angry and your relationship get tarnished a bit because of that, are you okay with that?
I think it's different because I learned how to navigate it better than I did the first time.
Forget family. Let's say somebody new.
Yeah, somebody new. I think I learned how to navigate it. You know, I think like the first time you put something out to the world and the world reacts. This time, if I write something, or maybe I'm a better songwriter to make it less specific as well. You know, I think Yungblud songs in the past were so specific. This is what this song's about directly. And maybe as I grow up and I get I'd say, become a more mature poet, if you like, a sense of ambiguity in my songwriting where it can mean anything to anyone, a specific element of pain to me. How do I make that mean something to you if you didn't go through what I went through? That's when I think the best songwriters in the world come into play. Like, what's Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls about? I don't know, but it makes me cry because I relate it to the first time a girl broke my heart or the day my grandmother died. What's Warning Sign by Coldplay about? I don't know. But to me, it's about every time I get to London. You know what I'm saying? I think that's when you become a master of your craft that you've got to do 10,000 hours on.
See, when you go through all of this, right? The anger, the pain, it made you open up. But usually what it does to people is people go to the shell.
Yes.
They don't open up. They want to be confined. They don't want to come out at all. And they want to go through their pain, anger, rage just by themselves. What made you open up?
Truly, I hate being claustrophobic. I hate sitting on a plane for 10 hours. I hate when my ears don't pop. I hate being in a small room. I hate being in a confined space. I think it's just my nature. When I felt caged, when I felt confined, when I felt like someone was trying to put me when I felt like someone was trying to put me in a box, or when I felt like my own brain was trying to put me in my shell, I cracked the fucking shell. and kick the fucking door down. I think that's just how I was built. I don't know. But I think with it all, I think when people listen to my tunes and come to the community and they ask me, like they said, like, oh, you helped me come out of my shell and you helped me like open up. That was what I wanted to do, because also Ozzy, Joe Strummer, Johnny Rotten, Eminem, they did that for me in the same way that probably John Lennon did it for Ozzy, or like Muddy Waters did it for Rolling Stones, or Joe Strummer. It's always like that. You know, I think like I turned to art and I came out of my shell in the same way that someone will turn to Yungblud and come out of the shell. You know what I mean? I think I hate confined spaces and I hate feeling claustrophobic. So I don't think there was another option.
You know, you just mentioned Eminem. So Eminem and Dr. Dre did that to me.
So good.
Like, so it's like...
so wild. I met Dr. Dre.
What?
I met Dr. Dre.
Really?
Yeah, like last year.
How was it?
The first time. So cool. I drove up to his house. It was like going to see the president. It was so sick. He's a true artist. You know, a true deep artist.
What do you love about him?
His innate understanding of music. I think all those samples he was pulling from was from like 30s French jazz music. And he has a depth to him. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes when I meet modern musicians and producers, everything can be quite shallow and all about the hits and the trend and the quick thing, and everything's hype and everything's fire and everything's great and everything's positive. Where he has this 90s thing of depth and patience and gratitude and stories and remembering people's fucking faces. You know, sometimes when I find it hard being in a modern artistic setting, because everything's moved so quick that no one has anything to say at all. Not in the music, at the fucking dinner.
Yeah.
Or when we're having a beer. You know what I mean? I think like it's so cool to see someone with so much success, swagger, fucking credibility, cool factor, and like cred, fucking cool gangster cred, be so deep and so poetic and so poignant. That's when I'm like, that's why he's Dr. Dre.
True. Every time you're saying something.
You know, no, I was just going to be like, and that's why I can see him producing hip hop, but I can also see him producing orchestras, and I can also see him producing a fucking rock star. Because he will conversate, go on an adventure, digest it, and then bring Dre to whatever scenario is put in front of us. And I think that's truly great art. It's like you look at Bowie when he did the 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor albums, and it was unbelievable because you enter different pockets and different worlds. Like, to be able to do that and to still remain so fundamentally yourself is where the greatest artists come out to play, I think.
Like, what I really love about Dr. Dre is, as an individual, forget him as an artist for now, like as an individual, just like every time, how can you push yourself beyond?
Yeah, man. To be better.
Into a
better.
completely different direction than your environment. Like, it's wild. Like, all the obvious choices he didn't take, and then he pushed it and got it better.
Yeah, man. And,
like,
and
at every time in his career, even at the peaks.
That's the best thing. I mean, for me, it's like when you, with art or whatever, if this one was big, the next one should be small. If this one was colorful, the next one should be different. I think every time doing that as an artist, it allows you to kind of go like, all right, cool. I'm going to leave this mountain now. I'm going to take a helicopter to the ground and then we're going to climb another one.
Exactly.
That's the point. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
Dr. Dre.
That's Dr. Dre. And that's any great artist who was around for, that's Bowie for me. You know what I mean? That's that's John Lennon for me. You know, I think like that's art that makes a difference. Instead of being like, or you do one album and you do it again and again and again and again. It's cool, but that's not the vibe. I think like a legacy and experimentation, because again, when we're talking, bringing it all the fucking full circle back to what we've been talking about, that's life and that's relationships and that's love and it's honesty and it's truth to explore.
True. The other name you said, Eminem.
Yeah.
I remember it significantly changed me when I saw that scene from 8 Mile.
Wow.
Where he's like, the scene is like, if you put all your insecurities out there first,
in the rap
can
battle.
point it out.
In the rap battle.
Exactly.
I love that scene. It's so important, that scene, because if you say, this is what I am, this is what people don't like about me, and this is da-da-da, then as a hater or as someone who is wanting to take me down, you have no gasoline.
Exactly.
Because I just used it all on myself.
Yeah, like you just joke because, hey.
Yeah, and it's the same thing we've been talking about. When you fundamentally
put out,
you know what I mean? You do your thing. When you say it, when you say the insults to me, even though I've said them to myself, they'll still hurt, but I hold the power.
Yeah.
Because, whatever, I'm insecure about my weight, or I'm insecure about this, or I'm insecure about that. But when you say it before me, you hold the power. When I say it, it still hurts the same. But I hold the pieces.
True.
You know what I mean? That's cool.
I agree. And with me, it's been like, if I talk about my insecurities and the dark side, the pain and the things that it's uncomfortable for me, if I put it out first, I feel like when you say it again, it hurts less. Like somehow it just, it doesn't, even though it hurts me, but it doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't
because it's a different. It's from a different place. You know what I'm saying? Like the fundamental core of the pain is like, that's gonna be there. But the power for someone to access it is yours, right, and your choice, and you can either give someone that, or you just go like, nah, all good, man. You know what I mean? I think that is the greatest entrapment, is allowing somebody else to access that fundamental essence of pain.
You know, one of the fundamental essence you've been talking about a lot, I was going through like a lot of your interviews, that is anger.
Yeah.
Right? Your dad has also admitted that he had a couple of anger issues, and then he went to therapy, stuff like that. And you've also said the same thing, that you have a lot of anger.
Yeah.
When you see yourself in the mirror, do you ever see that you're becoming like your dad?
I love my dad. So I am like my dad in many ways, and we have anger, and we also have a lot of love, and we also have a lot of compassion. You know, I think like I've never been worried about being like my dad, you know, because I think we worked through it. Like if I ended up like my dad, that'd be great. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the way he is, I love him. The way he had to navigate a certain part of his life was like the choices weren't always great, but I love him, and he's like one of my biggest heroes. It's such a strange dichotomy, like with it all, to see someone work on themselves like that, and to see someone prevail, and to completely, it's like my fucking hero, man. You know what I mean? And I think like with anger and as a subject, anger is such a strange thing, because anger is an uncontrollable thing if you don't face pain and trauma and anxiety and depression. I believe anger is excess energy that has not been addressed. That's where I believe it comes from.
Okay.
I believe you know, earlier we were talking about when we were like, if we don't want to watch a film or if we don't want to, like, I believe anger comes from a place of unresolved issues with oneself. And it's, if you look like a battery bar, right? If you fill up your tank, anger is overflowing emotion. Anger is overflowing energy, resentment, trauma, anxiety. That's why for me, when I work out or I go boxing or I go, I don't get angry. Even if someone screams at me in the street or someone drops out of my festival last minute, if I've already emptied that battery bar, then I see a solution. Why get angry? It's a waste of time. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, that's the way I've been really living when I found sport and I found boxing. And that's why I'd say, like, some people, therapy works. I advise people going for therapy, but it didn't work for me. Sport worked for me. Boxing worked for me.
So what made you start boxing? Where you figured out?
Do you know what? Okay. I was out of control. I think after the third album, Yungblud, I had made an album and I'd listened to too many people. I didn't not know who I was. I felt really lost. I'd listened to the world. I'd listened to my label. I'd listened to my fan base. And I was like, I was desperate for control. So I turned to food and I turned to alcohol. And all I could do, I could eat myself till I was sick, or I could drink myself until I was completely blackout and wasn't feeling anything at all. And the rest that came with that life. And I looked at myself in a mirror and I was like, I got to stop. So I told everyone to stop the train. I didn't want to tour. I needed to take some time out. And I landed in LA and someone had told me about a British boxing gym. And I'm really British, you know what I mean? I like the British vibe. I love a British cliche. So I went and I met a South African trainer and nothing was working on me. I was drinking, eating, boozing, doing everything to just kind of feel some sort of self-control. You know what I mean? Even though I was out of control. You know what I mean? If I could fucking drink this and no one can tell me I can't not drink it, I'm going to fucking drink it. Because it's my fucking right to drink it. That's how I was. And then I met a guy called Chris Van Heerden, which was a welterweight boxing champion. And he became a friend. He became a therapist. He became an answer. And when you meet boxers, they're in the business of anger. But when you meet any boxer, they will tell you, the minute you get angry in a ring, you'll get knocked out. The minute you lose control, the minute you let it get the better of you, the person opposite you is waiting for that moment. And they'll just see you get out of control and they'll throw a shot and it'll knock you out. And boxing was the craziest thing for me because it was the closest thing to being on stage or being, I don't know how to say this anymore. I still feel like a twat when I say like a famous rock star, right? You can't blow your load in the first song or you're going to get knocked out in round fucking 8. If you get too tired, you cannot let your emotions get the better of you. You have to remain calm. You have to remain present and you have to remain respectful or you'll get knocked out. And it was the biggest lesson in handling my emotions because I've never had a hobby. Music was my hobby until it was my job. And boxing was a hobby for me where I learned something about my life and I learned something about the man I was becoming and the man I am. In the same way that therapy worked for my father, but therapy didn't work for me. But I'm still as proud as my dad as I am of myself for wanting to make a difference and wanting to make a change. You know, I feel like we can turn to many things and it's different for everyone. But when you admit that you have an issue, like my grandmother died of alcoholism right? And we can feel guilty about how could we let that happen? She's the best person in the world. But the issue is, she didn't want to stop drinking. If you don't want to stop being angry, you'll be angry. If you don't want to stop drinking, you'll drink. If you don't want to stop doing anything, it all starts with you. That's why I'm proud of my dad. And that's why I'm proud of all my mates who get sober. That's why I'm proud of people who consciously make an effort to go like, you know what, like I'm going to figure this out. And I'm gonna, because it's the same thing, man. Again, we were talking about being selfish in relationships. You have to take that step yourself. You have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to be yourself, live with yourself before you can even entertain a relationship with somebody else, because otherwise it's a disaster. You can lean on people for help, of course. I'm not saying be an island. No one is an island. But when you find that mechanism that works for you, you become a better person to be around. And that's when you can become a better lover, better brother, better son, better, you know what I mean? Be anything, you know?
True. You said that you're proud of the fact that your dad came out of it, or you came out of it, and everybody comes out of it. For the first time, when things got really, really bad in your world,
yeah,
your mom took you out from there.
Yeah.
Right? She took you away.
Yeah.
So did your mom teach you something about survival, which no one else could?
My mother... My mother is... I always think she's magic, man. Because... I mean, and I'm very lucky, like, with the women in my life, my girlfriend as well. The ability between those two women, I feel so lucky because they see both sides of every argument completely unselfishly, even if they disagree with me. Whereas with me, if we're disagreeing on something, I find it, sometimes I can't come out of my head in the moment. I will realize that I was in the wrong afterwards. What's crazy about my mother and then my girlfriend who I met, and why I think I love her so much, is my mum can always take herself out of her head in real time and be like, you're angry at me right now, you're completely in the wrong, but I see why you're angry, but you're overthinking it, or this has happened, or whatever. I think my mother taught me so much about people from such a young age, because I don't know, man, she was just deep and she was magic, and she's like a bit of a gypsy. So she would always let the scenario, the conversation, the argument, the heated thing play out, and then play her move. As opposed to going, no one gets anywhere. She would kind of like, finished. Here's what I think. You know, and I don't know, man. I fucking love my mom. I'm a mummy's boy. You know, still now, when I have a big gig and I can't sleep and I'm at the other side of the world, and if I'm jet lagged tonight and anxious and nervous about tomorrow, she'll pick up the phone and knows a way to talk me down. You know, I've always been bad at sleeping.
You still call her when things go wrong?
Yeah, if I'm nervous about tomorrow, I'll probably call tonight. You know what I mean? I think...
Dude, it's funny. Even I'm a hardcore mama's boy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I just think there's no greater thing. And I love her hard, man. You know, I think she taught me so much without me even knowing.
But why do you think that we love and trust the art about pain, but we almost call out the artist who's talking about it, and we say that, oh, maybe he's just an attention seeker, or she's an attention seeker?
Because it's somewhere to put our own pain. The reason why we attack sports stars, artists, if they don't hit a 6, if they miss a penalty, if you don't like someone's haircut or the way someone sings, it's easy to put your pain on somebody else without consequence than potentially address the pain. The thing about the internet is so hard is because the amount of hate comments and attention seeker and shares, I hate Yungblud, I think he's shit or whatever. It used to affect me until I realized that it's only to me, I am a mirror for people. And if they don't like what they see in themselves, they probably won't like what they see in me. And the internet has no consequence. If I walk up to you and I say, I think your point of view is bullshit, you'll be like, let's talk about it. And then I automatically have to talk about it with you because that's the respect between two human beings. If you've got an issue with me, you'll talk to me about it. If you can't talk to me about it, you don't, you know what I mean? It's just like here, there's no consequence. This fuel, this anger that is unaddressed, again, this outpour of energy turns into hatred on the internet. So when I read comments on the internet now, as a 28-year-old who's been through the wars a bit and been cancelled on Twitter and been called out and been ripped to shreds, and then kind of sit here with you like, oh, it didn't kill me. It didn't end me. I just used it as fuel. Then I feel like it's different. I come at it from a different place. You know, I think like people will always say anything, but I'll only listen if it comes from a place of reality and comes from a place of consequence. If you have a problem with me, let's fucking talk about it. And hopefully I can turn you around and convince you otherwise. And if I can't, at least we fucking spoke about it. At least we had the confidence and the bollocks to address it.
You know, let's talk about honesty a little bit because I find it interesting. I read a research recently about our generation that Gen Z doesn't necessarily find themselves. They're almost like in an A/B testing world. They treat their identity more or less like a brand, where they're putting it something they're projecting, they're seeing, oh, is it getting liked? Are we getting accepting? Yes,
and
no.
if it's not, I'm going to change it.
Exactly. They change, they pivot. So whatever gets them attention, they change their identity as per that. Do you see this as a problem with a lot of people?
When we were talking about Dr. Dre earlier, fundamentally, I agree. I feel like I find it really hard sometimes when I meet modern artists and sometimes having conversations with people who are centered around the internet. And then everyone else it always trickles down when you meet influencers, everyone listens to, you know what I'm saying? It's so hard to form an identity or be yourself now because instantly you're subject to opinion if you put your life on the internet. And anybody from 13 years old when you download Instagram to 85, anyone in the world can say whatever they want about you.
Yeah.
When you post it now, anyone, it goes to the whole fucking world. So I think it's a crazy thing, and I think that's why there's a mad identity crisis in the world right now, because everyone is following. To follow someone. You follow someone. That is in the fundamental essence of our lives. We follow.
Yeah.
We are not been told initially to lead. You know, I think that's what's crazy about the internet.
True.
Whereas in real life, with you fucking get rid of this. So that's what I was doing today. I was like walking around and I was like, people, when you live, you have to live. You have to fucking put your feet in the fucking grass, and you've got to fucking drink the water, and you've got to fucking smell the air, and you've got to we don't do that. The amount of times a week I go, fuck, man. I got to like go outside and I got to fucking look at a tree and I got to comprehend how sick the sky is. We get desensitized to anything real because it's so addictive to follow and to keep up with other people's mistakes and failings and successes, as opposed to looking at the sky and dreaming about something, or having a thought. And I think the thing about it is like what that leads us to do is it kills innovation, because when you ask someone a question, they take that pivoting system into their answer.
Yeah.
So when I say what's your favorite color, you might go instantly blue, but you automatically it goes into your stomach. You try and think about what I want you to say. Insecurity comes into play, and by 15 seconds later, when you open your mouth, you say orange. You really want to say blue, and that's what's happening at the minute. And it's crazy because there's no one cooler than someone who's themselves. Even if I fucking hate you, at least I know what you are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know who you are? Or do you know someone who just works really good on internet?
No, I know I am. I know I am today. I might not know I am tomorrow.
Do you truly just be yourself? Or do you be someone who you know works really well for this brand?
From 26 and a half years old, yeah, I'm myself. Before
that, you were not? You're trying to play
No, I was myself. When I was 18, initially, I was myself. But what you got to realize with this shit is when the world shouts back, how the fuck do you deal with that from 18 to 24? It's hard enough to do that without the world telling you what you are. So it took me a little bit longer because, you know, it's the same shit if like you want to be a singer, but your dad wants you to be a doctor and he's shouting at you, you're going to be a fucking doctor and you want to be a singer, or vice versa. Your dad wants you to be a singer and you want to be a doctor, and everyone's shouting at you. What the fuck are you? You don't know. You live in this dichotomy. But truly now, and I think that's why I had such a big year last year, because fundamentally, I settled and I went for what I want, and I do what I want, and I speak about what I believe in the same way that I did when I was 18. And then I hit 21 and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's easy to be what people want because it means it means there's no risk. You know what I mean? But risk is an artist's greatest tool. Without risk, it runs out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can honestly say that now. It's like, initially, fuck yeah. But at 18, I was still finding myself. So I was being myself, but I was still being like, I was open to the idea of like, whoa, this is fucking endless possibility. And that was really pure. But between 21 and probably about 25, I was like, what the fuck? But also, it was always truthful. I was like, I'm going to try that for a bit, and I'm going to try that for a bit, and I'm going to try that for a bit. And I'm going to play into this because I know people will like it. I'm going to play into this because I know people will hate it. And I was in that fucking weird sense of rebellion and down for the ride. And that like led to self-control issues and with alcohol and food. Because I was like, who the fuck am I? And everyone's telling me what I am. Mm-hmm. So then without question, I had to go like, who the fuck am I? And if this is the end of my career, I got to do it because this is not going well. You know, like on my downward spiral, I'm like, this is not going well. And I got to make an album that I want, and I got to talk the way I want, and I got to wear what I want, and I'm going to take control back, and I'm going to start boxing, and I'm going to start getting my mind better, and I'm going to commit to myself.
You know, when I hear all this, another thing that the world shouts, like really is shouting out loud today, is be a man. Right? And the number one shame that men of today or men of any time feel is they don't want to be perceived as weak. They necessarily don't fear vulnerability, but they fear if they show vulnerability, they're going to be seen weak.
Yeah, 100%.
They're going to lose attraction. They're going to not be accepted. Their mating chances will go down. Their respect will go down.
Yeah.
Right? Stuff like that. But you, on the other hand, you've been very vocal about just expressing the way you are, talking about your feelings, painting your nails, wearing skirts, like whatever you want to do, you do that. Do you feel internet has made the definition of masculinity so fragile that we're just judging people based on a skirt or a trouser?
The internet has made us judge people regardless of everything. It gives us again an opportunity to judge someone without consequence. It gives us an opportunity to leave a comment on someone's life with no consequence whatsoever. So it's really hard. And I think that the craziest thing about masculinity is that, you know, like you are brought up. Well, I was brought up with an idea of what it was, and so was my father and my grandfather, etc., etc., etc. And then the internet comes along, and we do judge, but it also exposes us to make our own decisions. You do not like if the generation before teaches you the way of the world, and then you get an encyclopedia of every single historical moment, every word, every language, every culture there, everything changes. So I think our generation completely broke the wheel of any tradition. You know what I'm saying? Tradition gets carried on now because we want it to, or we love it, or we need it to. And it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? But we also have the option to end it. You know what I'm saying? I think because everyone in the world, if you've got a phone or if you've got, you know what I mean, can be exposed to a whole new thing other than what we have known, you know? Before you would learn from before and learn from before and learn from before and learn from before, and then it would adapt and change over time. Whereas this just fucking threw a spanner in everything. And the craziest thing about masculinity is at the minute, and really on this album, I've really experimented and done what I fucking wanted and kind of loved that, you know? But then on this album, I really had this energy and this, I think this fucking biological, sexual fucking thing that I wanted to explore in a way that, like, when you look at a 13-year-old boy and I look at me as a 13-year-old boy, I didn't have this yet. So I kind of would wear nail polish and get the shit kicked out of me on the football field, but it was still tangible. If you had an issue with me for wearing nail polish and you want to have a go at me, at least I can fucking shout back. It held consequence. If you're a 13-year-old young man right now, you have the right and you have Andrew Tate and you have all this shit going on over here about take the power back to what we once were, and this is what we fucking and fuck everything and be whatever, right? And then you also, and I'm saying this as a 13-year-old lad now, you also have this narrative on the internet, this fuck men narrative, which is completely justified because, like, my generation before, blah, 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 and the generation before that, misogynistic bullshit that has no fucking place in my world. But as a 13-year-old boy, where the fuck do you go? Because you've got this side telling you to go and kick the shit out of everyone if they don't agree with you. And you've got this side telling you that to be a man is a fucking horrible thing to be, and fuck man. So as a 13-year-old boy, to me as Yungblud, whatever you are, whatever gender, whatever race, whatever you want to be, I want you to be able to express yourself and be welcome in my world, and not my world, in this community that we've built together. It's not my world, you know what I mean? It's our world. And in my head, I was like, in the same way that I've fought for equality within queer rights and within racial equality, everything I've spoken about in Yungblud, I have to also fight for the 13-year-old boy who is going, oh my God, I've got to be this, or I've got to be this, or I've got to hide. I'm like, no, you can be what you want. You can be emotional. You can wear a skirt on a Monday and go boxing on a Tuesday. And why does that make you less of a man? You can be what you want, as long as you're leading with love. That's my vibe. Be a fucking lover, be honest, be truthful, and lead with love. If you're spreading hate, fuck you, in any regard. But in my world, I really want to present that opportunity to be able to come into a place where it's like a place of exploration and a place of learning and a place of exposure to a mindset that is completely limitless if you want it to be.
Do you think a teenager today is seeing a lot more anti-men sentiment, the one that you're describing right now?
I think they're seeing everything. I think the vibe is the algorithm gives you. The algorithms are crazy.
But do you think they're seeing more of anti-men sentiment?
Yeah, than before.
Yeah,
100%. And my vibe is like, what the internet gives people is the right to express, in any regard, love, hate, anything. So if an influencer had a bad experience and fighting against fucking 150, 200, 1,000 years of misogyny, fuck yeah, that is completely all right to do that, because it's bullshit. But also, I want everyone to think about what the fuck would, you know what I mean? Like, if the boys, if they're getting that and there's nothing in the middle, it's just going to create a confused a generation with no identity and nowhere to go, which will lead to anger and hatred and resentment. And my vibe is, I want to build a place where people can be completely equal and completely loved, because at the end of the day, the algorithm, like, for example, you click on a video that affects you, and human nature, if something hurts us or we hate it, or it's not necessarily, we don't just click on what we love. Sometimes we click on what angers us. Sometimes we click on what we hate. Sometimes we click on, and if that's in your algorithm all the time, it's a really hard place to exist in. You know, because if a 12-year-old lad has been told that he's a piece of shit for everything, it's gonna make him hate the world. It's gonna make him hate everything, and then he's gonna become what he didn't want to be because he had no choice.
So if you had to tell this 13-year-old your definition of masculinity, what would it be?
I would say if that was my little brother or if that was my son, I would say that person is spreading unnecessary hate out of a complete fear and complete unresolved trauma and hatred. And I would say, don't be that. That guy's lost. That guy's so lost, and he's 10 years older than you.
Why do we not have enough men talking about this? Why don't we have enough role models?
It's scary. To be fighting for masculinity on the internet is a cancelable offense in the world of the internet.
Do you really believe so?
I believe that people are afraid to talk about it in an open scenario like this.
But don't you think somebody must have tried to show a new definition of masculinity where you can be weak, you can be yourself.
Yeah, you are right now, and so am I.
And
you know what I'm saying?
That's true. But somebody must have done it like so passionately so many more times, and they must have gotten penalized in some way. That's why they stopped.
I don't know, man. I really feel like after COVID, the internet was angry. Anything that the internet didn't agree with would be shut down immediately. So this is a problem also of everyone's own making. The vibe is this. The hard thing about the internet is it's cut to a 20-second soundbite. When you edit this together, we'll put up a 20-second soundbite that doesn't give the whole story. If someone wants to sit here and listen to our 3-hour, 4-hour, 2-hour conversation, we don't get the whole story. We don't get the fact that me and you have, as we conversate, we break down the point. We don't always have the answer immediately. That's what's cool about this thing. We go through a journey together, we connect together. So probably next time I come to India, we'll probably fucking end up having dinner because we conversated and we connected and we agreed and we disagreed and we vibed. That's what's hard about the internet now, is it gets lost, and a 20-second soundbite can be misconstrued and seen as truth. That is why people are afraid to talk about it, because how the fuck do I define masculinity in one sentence? You just asked me to. I can't.
True.
It's a fucking lifetime journey. And I wish I would have said that 3 minutes ago when you asked me that question, but it's not almost instant. Life isn't instant. The internet makes you want to feel instant. It's not fucking instant. You know what I mean? It's all about unraveling the scroll and the answers within your mind. And I think like with it all, it's hard because how do you bite size such a massive question? That's the hard thing about the internet, and that's the hard thing about what we consume on the daily. Whereas in the past, we would read a newspaper, we would read a book, we would read a journal where someone had 50,000 words to explain their point of view. Now you got 5 seconds. If you don't get in those 5 seconds, no one listens to it.
True.
No one reads it. No one hears it. You know what I mean? If it's not split second bite size, it gets 200,000 views as opposed to 25 million.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes there probably is people out there talking about a new masculinity and a new idea of that. But is it less clickable? Is it less bite size? And is it longer format? So that's why I'm like, when this got presented and I knew what you were about, I'm like, let's fucking go and do that. Because when two predominantly liberal males who want to fight for a new generation of what the fuck does masculinity look like, we have to start here with a long 2-3 hour conversation. Just that you have a platform, I have a platform, need to talk about, and we need to kind of be like, ooh, fuck, let's talk about this, because people will hate it and people will fight back and people will disagree. But that's the point. It's conversation. You know what I mean? I think like in the world, you know?
Yeah. You know, there are so many things that I agree with you and I disagree with you. But here's something that I really admire. That even though when I was reading about you and even right now, you're not afraid to talk about a lot of shit. And I really admire that honesty. Like you just open up about, it's like, I don't know. Sometimes, even if like there are points when you don't know, you're like, I can't put this in a box, I don't know. And even if it's about something private, you're just open about it. That's admirable. I'm just putting it out there.
No. I love that, and I think that's I don't know. I think it was a strange thing to navigate on the internet, because it's kind of like when you sat down in a situation like this again. When you're an artist, you're expected to be so wise, and it's so hard to sometimes be like, I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean. Sometimes it's like, what's next on the fucking agenda? It's like, I have no idea, man. I'm trying to get through today. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and have a coffee and see what the fuck happens. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe. But I love this too. I really did love this. I feel like we fucking, we ride and we talk. And I think that's almost kind of the lesson at the end of this. It's like when we sit down for 3 hours and we talk about this shit, that's what's beautiful. And I think the strange thing about the world we live in right now is everything's got to be quick. No one has any time anymore. And no one has the room to disagree. I feel like the strange thing about the internet, if you go against the opinion of your algorithm or your friend's algorithm, you hate each other now, as opposed to being like, all right, well, I don't agree with you, but let's have a fucking beer. And that's what it used to be, you know what I mean? With my friends and shit, I'm like, you support a different football team to me, but I don't care. I still love you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's one thing which is so private that we have never heard in any of your songs?
Holy shit. You want the scoop? To be honest, I think I have been a complete open book. You know, I feel like to be brutally honest with you, I'm quite scared right now.
For?
The future. I think after the year I've had, after the amount of people that have seen me and come to me and said that I am the leader of this new thing, and I'm in a period of my life right now, and I'm not saying this one on, where I'm like, oh God, I've got to go and step up to a plate that has been placed upon me, and I've wanted it to be placed upon me my whole life, but this is the moment, and this is now. And I feel like, again, like, I feel very lucky as an artist that I get to be able to have a platform to be like, you know what, I'm just as fucking shit scared as anybody, because all we want to do is, I don't know, I want to fulfill my dream, and I want to become what I set out to be, in the same way that you did, and you did, and you did, and you did, and you did. And it's cool right now. I'm a bit scared. I'm nervous about tomorrow. I'm scared, but I also love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people see rock stars as like, yeah, man, go on stage and play for 40,000 people in India tomorrow. I want to nail it, and I want to explore this culture, and I want to make those people feel seen and have a good time, and I want to live up to people's expectations of what I am. And I feel like it's a pretty un-rock star thing to say. You know what I mean? A rock star would be like, fuck everyone and let's do it. But I believe, again, I think it actually kind of feels good to say that.
You're gonna kill it, don't worry.
No, I know. I fundamentally, I think I will. But
you're scared.
Going into the next year, and this year in my life, where I've got to live up to an expectation that has been placed upon me. Will I do it? Will I not? We'll see.
So apart from this, you've also struggled with your body, right?
Yeah.
So when you see yourself in the mirror today, who do you see?
It's so funny because I am really insecure about my body. And I think a lot of people have seen me go shirtless on this last tour. And that's been a big battle with myself. I did not like my body without my shirt on for a long time. I still struggle with it. Like, even today's, they're laughing. I'm still like, oh no, I'm whatever. I have this weird thing that a lot of us go through where I really struggle with my body and my weight.
Even today, when you see yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
What do you wish you saw?
I don't know. I had something better. I feel like we all judge ourselves harsher than the world does. I wish I was a little bit skinny. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a little bit more ripped. I wish I was a little bit more, you know what I mean? Whatever. And people will be like, you're crazy. And I'm like, yeah, but I could say that to you and you would still feel the way you feel about yourself. I don't know why. I've had a hard time with my body, and I work on it all the time, and I struggle with it. But I also kind of on this journey in my life, I took my shirt off on stage every night to play a game with myself and almost be a bit like stand on the edge of the cliff and scream and kind of like face that demon in the mirror every night and go, fuck you. I don't know. I'm a bit mad like that.
So out of all the things that you said, tell me one specific thing about your body which you hate right now.
The way my arse hangs over my leather pants and my chaps and this bit.
You're doing something to change this, or you're like...
Trying my best. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Gonna go boxing tonight. I don't know. Yeah. And then I knocked this tooth out. And I had to have it rebuilt with metal. I don't like that. I want to change that.
You also said somewhere that you can't stop, because if you stop, then you're going to die. Like, you don't want to stop.
Yeah.
But then doctors made you stop. So you're like always running, energy.
Yeah.
What are you running away from?
My vibe is that I'm either running away from something or running towards it. And it depends on what mindset I'm in when I know.
What is it today?
I think I am running to fucking play a rock and roll gig in India. But when I leave tomorrow, I'll be running away from the idea that I've got to make a fucking massive album. And when I've done that album, I'll be running towards a sold-out UK arena tour and then a sold-out American tour. And after that, I'm going to be running away from the fact that I got to get my tonsils out in August because I kept getting sick. And then after that, I'll probably be running towards fucking getting back on the road. You know what I mean? So I think my life is always, I'm always running, but I don't know. Some days I'm running away, some days I'm running towards, and it depends on what happens in the morning.
Nice. So you're going to play tomorrow in front of 30, 40,000 people. You must have played in front of thousands of people before. You're always surrounded with people. You've built a community for yourself. What's the point where you felt the loneliest?
Sick question. I would say when you... And I don't want to fucking this to sound like a miserable woe is me rock star thing because I love my fucking vibe, you know what I mean? But it can get quite lonely when people don't see you as a human being anymore. When I was in Australia, there was like 400 people outside the hotel and you kind of can't go to a restaurant. You kind of just got to leave the fucking stage and go back to a quiet hotel room, which is mental because I love the chaos and I love the juxtaposition of like, I don't love the juxtaposition of noise. Because you're on stage and it's like, fuck. And it's like, what the fuck? And then you're back in a hotel and it's silent. That's can be so fucking lonely if you don't have your best friend to talk to or your fucking blanket or your favorite movie. Like I watch fucking war movies on repeat, the same shit all the time.
Why?
Sense of consistency. When I'm in a different hotel every night, when I'm on a different road, when I'm on a different plane, when I'm in a different street. You know what I mean? You need some kind of consistency or you go fucking mad. Because it's like, you got to adjust, man. Like, the hotel, like, tomorrow's hotel, the bed will be facing the other way. And the fucking wallpaper's different, and it smells different, and the aircon's different to work. And the shower don't get hot in the first minute. It takes 2 minutes, and then the next day, it's all fucking different again. If you don't have a sense of consistency, you can feel really lonely. Because you're away from your family, you're away from your whatever all the time. So if you haven't got your best mate, if you haven't got your fucking blanket, if I haven't got my candles, I go fucking mad.
But you broke up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You were drowning and you didn't know why.
Yep. It was me.
And you've also seen your parents as a child loving and hurting each other. So it was almost like love is like a war.
Yeah.
Right? And then you sort of did the same thing in your relationship because you pushed her away for a while. What makes you believe you're not going to do that again?
I think an epiphany of finding a sense of self and honest and a fearlessness of utter honesty.
Do you trust yourself to do that?
Yeah, I think so, because I feel like all she ever wanted from me was honesty, and I didn't know or love myself enough to be able to provide that for her. But I do now.
Nice.
You know, I think you got to go over that fucking wall to be able to not distract and to be able to, again, be truthful about what you want. You know, I think because at the end of the day, I'm down to hear what she wants and she's down to hear what I want. And sometimes that's the same thing. Sometimes it's not. And both are okay.
Yeah.
You know, like you see them videos on TikTok, like her battery bar's at 10% and mine's at 90, and then that's the thing, and then it's 50 and then we're both at 90. Like, that's the fucking vibe, man. As long as you know where you're at and as long as you're truthful about it, you know what I mean? It's like, it fucking happens, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Have you heard of a term called essential chase?
Essential chase?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so it's like most of the public figures and artists and creators and everyone, they go through this because when they are in front of their crowd, they are like the most important thing, and the crowd is ravishing, there's chaos, everybody wants a piece of you. So you're in that high, right? You're in that, everybody is making you feel that you're essential in their life, right? So when you come back from stage and there's this quiet hotel room, you still chase that.
Yeah.
So you're constantly just chasing that
100%.
importance. Do you do that?
You're constantly chasing a high. That's why a lot of people turn to drugs and alcohol.
Exactly.
And sleeping pills and stuff. I find it really hard too. I cannot be exposed to Xanax, Valium, or anything like that too much because I know that I don't take drugs, really. I've never been into them. You know, I think it would numb me. I don't like to be numb. I like to feel, even if it fucking hurts, because I learn. It's the only way I've learned, you know what I mean? But I know I have a really hard time switching off.
Do you chase that from people?
Chase what from people?
The high that they need to make you feel celebrated and godlike.
No, I don't think I do. I feel like I love the rumble of a crowd. I love seeing 20,000 people jump together. That's the cool. I don't know. I think that's what I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to the fucking raw. It's not really about me. It's about the fucking view.
But when you're back in the hotel room, what do you chase then?
Ooh, fucking hell. Being on the same thing, being on stage, that fucking feeling of
like you want to get back again.
I just want to get back again, or I want to turn it off. Like, I wish I could just go, but I can't, because when I get back into the hotel room and it's fucking quiet and I'm still like, what the fuck? And everyone else is asleep and I'm up. That's the scariest, loneliest part.
Yeah.
On the road. That's why I hate the night. That's why I live through the night now. Because if I'm trying to sleep during the night, when the fucking cars start beeping and the sun comes up, I can fall asleep. Because I know everyone else is about. When it's the night and everyone else switches off and I'm still awake and I'm still rushing, I hate it. So that's why I cannot have like Valium or Xanax. I just can't even entertain it because I might turn to that because it'll just shut me off and it'll be a button to go like, gig was good, take that, shut off. And I also kind of like, I almost like, I really feel like if you become immune and if you become immune to that feeling, then you become a cunt. Or you become a dick. My vibe is me rushing till the morning comes is kind of part of the gift that I was given, you know? I would say.
You know, for me, it's different.
Yeah?
Like when I go out and give speeches and I'm in front of 10,000 people and they're celebrating, I'm looking at the view like is it for, you know, like what's happening and everybody's in sync. And they're like listening to every word that I have to say. Like the chase which you must be feeling on the stage.
100%.
I feel in a different way. On that night, I get the most peaceful sleep.
Motherfucker. I'm jealous. I'm so jealous.
Like for me, it's big. All my friends are like you. All my artist friends are like the comedians, the musicians, the speakers. Everybody is just like you. Like they can't sleep.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like,
fuck, man, you gotta give me a bit of that shit. I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, that's why you look so pretty. I'm like, and that's why I put eyeliner on, because I'm like 10 years and no sleep. I wish I could, but what's the best sleep I have? My vibe is this: the best sleep I have is when I'm a week into a holiday. The first week of a holiday, I'm fucking so anxious. I'm like,
what do I do?
I'm on a fucking desert island. What the fuck do I do? The whole thing's going to burn. My career's over. What the fuck am I going to do? But then like day 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm like, oh my God, I slept for 12 hours. and my body just kind of latches on. But then I also get sick. Every fucking holiday I go on, I get sick because my body stops. You know, 'cause when you're on tour, especially when you're a singer, if you're a guitar player or a drummer, if you get sick, it's fine because your body isn't your instrument. You whatever, this is your instrument. This fucking thing, if I get sick, it's like I've got to cancel the gig. So my body never lets me get sick. So anytime I take off, if I got a fucking beautiful resort in the middle of fucking the Bahamas or whatever, I'm like, yes, finally, ill.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. So every holiday I go on, I like spend in bed. So I'm just like, ill.
So
I know it's fucked.
this is interesting because I go through the same thing. Almost every time I'm doing a podcast, I don't sneeze. I don't get sick. Even if I'm like really, really sick, like I'm under the weather. But if I'm in my game, my body doesn't like let me get sick. Like this morning, I was right before you came in, like 15 minutes before, I was like sneezing out of my wits there.
That's funny.
I was like coughing, sneezing. And during this entire 3-4 hour conversation, I've not sneezed once.
Weird. It's the same on stage. Like 10 minutes before you walk to stage, you might need a piss.
Yeah.
On stage, all bodily functions go out the window. Like I can walk to stage and need a piss. And then when 5 songs in, I'm like, why don't I need a piss anymore? It's so weird. And then I get off stage, I'm like, I'm busting for a piss. But on stage, it's like, I don't need a piss. It's fucking weird, man. I think you're in it. I think your body just like fight or flight.
Yeah, your whole body's like just thinking about this.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Okay, I have a question about India.
Go on.
Okay, which is, what made you say yes to an Indian designer when half of your audience wouldn't even know about him?
So my vibe is...
You collaborated with Aaquib Wani, right?
Yeah, Aaquib Wani for a merch club.
Yeah. And
my vibe is, when I come somewhere, I want to fundamentally learn. Otherwise, what's the fucking point of traveling the world playing music if you're just going to stay in the hotel room all the time, listen to the same music, watch the same movies? I want to be affected by Indian art, Indian movies, Indian music while I'm in India, right? And then I want to take that back. I want to uplift any kind of artist to my fan base. Be like, if people fuck with those t-shirts in London, let's bring an Indian artist t-shirts to London, and let's bring, you know what I mean? That's always been my vibe. I really was like, let's do that. When I came here, I wanted to do something that would let me understand the culture and get to know speakers and artists and musicians and Bollywood actors. Why? Because I find that cool. You know what I mean? So I was like, let's do a merch collab. And let's not just bring the same t-shirts I've been taking on tour. Let's do a new one. Let's do an interesting, cool thing. Because when I see the name in a different fucking language, or different colors, or different cultures, or different... We grew up watching different things, eating different things. So I find it so interesting. Like when you come to my house, I'll cook a British Sunday roast for you. And when I come to yours, you got to cook what the fuck you grew up on. Yeah. Because that's so cool. So I just kind of see it in a purest way like that. I was like, when we're in India, we should definitely do something cool like that. And in the same way, it's like I've been holding out for the right list of Bollywood films and the right music artists, because I don't want to watch a fucking Bollywood film on a plane. I want to watch it in India, fucking eating Indian food and drinking a Kingfisher. That's what I want to do, because that's how I'm going to fundamentally feel it and learn about it and want to come back. So that was my vibe, you know? I was like, let's do it, and let's do a merch pop-up, and let's vibe, you know?
Nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you.
Hit me.
And one request.
Go on then.
Okay. So one last question is, I didn't interrupt you there when you were saying running towards or running away from, depending on your mood.
Yeah.
I want to quote something you said. You said you're like a shark. if you stop moving, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Right? But sharks are designed that way. You're not designed that way. Did you tell yourself that you are like shark because your trauma has taught you stillness is not okay?
Can I tell you something that's crazy about that? I once thought that, really. I thought that. But the biggest lesson I think that I've ever learned with this last album, I stopped and I assessed and I worked it out before I started again. So potentially probably me at 22, 23, 25, when I said that, I feel differently about it now.
You think you can stop now?
No. My vibe is I can stop for, I wouldn't want to, I'm having too much fun. I will stop in February and March I will stop to write an album. And I will assess. But is that really stopping? Because I stopped to write an album. So my vibe is, again, in my head, I was like always wanted to be on the move. And I glamorized that because it was rock and roll and it was blah, blah, blah. But to fundamentally make the best art I did, which I think was my last album, in my opinion, I reassessed and I stopped. So I'm definitely on a new trip. Now you said that. I'm definitely on a new wave of going like, maybe everything doesn't have to be made on the move.
Yeah. So instead of shark, maybe you can start using lion now. You know the lion theory?
Fucking no, I don't. But I am a lion.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. I am a lion. I'm a Leo as well. So I'm a lion.
I'm a Leo too.
Makes sense. That's why we got the vibes. Yeah.
So the lion theory is, you know how lion is in a jungle?
Yeah.
The lion rests the whole day. And then only gets up when he got to hunt.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't get back to rest until he hunts the shit down.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
So you go hard and hunt, and then you come back, rest, and then you go hunt again.
I like that theory, man. That's a good fucking theory. I'll take that.
Yeah,
all right, cool. Sharks out the window. Lions now. Yeah. Right on. Lions now.
Thank you so much, man. This is fun.
Thank you so much. I really fucking love this. This was killer.
Thank you. I really appreciate you being really honest.
I really appreciate the fucking challenge in what I say, and you being honest too. I fucking had fun today.
Thank you.
I really did.
Thank you so much.
I fucking love it, man.
Thank you.
Only for you, brother.
Thank you.
Tune it. I would have brought my guitar if I knew I was doing this. Oh, it's all good. If I was to talk about the words, they would hurt. They would hurt. So if you were to ask about the pain, I would lie. I would lie. To fix my mind, I need time. But it's running out, it's running out. Oh, I know that I can't live without you. But this world will keep turning if you do. Would you even want me? Looking like a zombie. Would you even want me? Want me? Want me?
Woo!
Right on.
That was so good, man. That was so good.
I like it, man. On a dirty guitar, rocking, man. The way it was supposed to be.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this podcast till the end. please let us know in the comments what all did we do right so that we can improve and keep doing that better, and what all did we do wrong so that we never repeat it. And at the same time, please give us suggestions of who's the next guest that you want to see on the podcast. And don't forget to share this episode with at least one person who will get some insights, because one conversation is enough to give people enough ideas to change their lives. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep figuring out. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.